In the heart of a dense forest, far away from the bustling cities, lay the forgotten village of Black Hollow. Surrounded by thick trees and a mysterious mist that never seemed to lift, the village had long been trapped in the grip of an ancient curse. As night fell, a suffocating silence engulfed the land, and every villager locked themselves inside their homes, bolting their doors and windows shut. The terror that ruled Black Hollow had a name: the Witch of Black Hollow. Every night, she would roam the village, searching for her next victim. Those unfortunate enough to cross her path would either be found dead by dawn, their bodies twisted in unnatural positions, or disappear without a trace. The curse had haunted Black Hollow for decades, but its origins dated back to a woman named Elena Blackwood, accused of witchcraft centuries ago. According to legend, Elena was a healer who used herbs and ancient knowledge to treat the sick. However, when a powerful noble's son died under her care, she was blamed for his death. The villagers, fearing her supposed dark magic, captured her, dragged her to the outskirts of the village, and burned her alive at the stake. With her dying breath, Elena had cursed Black Hollow, vowing vengeance upon those who wronged her and their descendants. That very night, the first death occurred. A young boy, Thomas Grayson, was found hanging from a tree, his face frozen in an expression of utter terror. His family, desperate for answers, could only recall a whispering voice outside their home the night before. Since then, every few nights, a new victim would be claimed, and a new tale of horror would be etched into the village's history. Over the years, the villagers had devised their own rituals to ward off the witch. Some left offerings of food at the forest's edge, believing it would appease her. Others painted symbols of protection on their doors. However, none of these efforts ever worked for long. The witch's hunger for vengeance was insatiable. Among the villagers was a young man named Daniel Carter. Unlike most, Daniel was not willing to live his life in fear. Having lost his sister, Abigail, to the witch a year prior, he was determined to find a way to end the curse once and for all. He sought the help of Father Gregory, the village priest, who had spent years researching the legend of Elena Blackwood. According to Father Gregory's ancient texts, the only way to lift the curse was to find Elena's remains and perform a sacred ritual to cleanse her spirit. Daniel gathered a small group of villagers willing to help him: his childhood friend Henry Wells, a local hunter named Marcus Hale, and Father Gregory. Armed with torches, weapons, and an old map that hinted at Elena's possible burial site, they ventured into the forest under the cover of darkness. The deeper they went, the thicker the mist became. Strange whispers echoed through the trees, and shadows moved unnaturally. The group pressed on, determined not to let fear take hold. After hours of searching, they stumbled upon an abandoned clearing, where the charred remains of an old wooden stake still stood. Beneath it lay a disturbed grave. Father Gregory began chanting the sacred verses, while Daniel and Henry dug through the damp earth. As soon as their shovels hit something solid, a chilling wind howled through the clearing. They uncovered a skeletal figure, its bony fingers curled in agony, confirming their worst fears: it was Elena Blackwood. The moment they lifted the remains, an ear-piercing scream shattered the silence. The trees around them began to shake violently, and the ground trembled. From the darkness emerged a figure, the witch herself, her hollow eyes burning with rage. Marcus, the hunter, raised his crossbow and fired, but the bolt passed through her like smoke. The witch lunged at Henry, her clawed hands aiming for his throat. Daniel tackled Henry out of the way just in time, but Marcus was not as lucky. The witch's grip tightened around his neck, and within seconds, his body turned pale and lifeless before collapsing to the ground. Father Gregory continued his chanting, his voice rising above the chaos. Daniel grabbed a vial of holy water and splashed it onto the witch. She shrieked in agony as her form flickered, weakening momentarily. Seizing the opportunity, Daniel and Henry quickly placed the bones into a consecrated cloth and doused them in holy oil. As Father Gregory uttered the final words of the ritual, a blinding light erupted from the grave. The witch let out a final, blood-curdling scream before her form disintegrated into ash. The mist that had plagued the forest for centuries slowly lifted, revealing the first glimpse of a starry night in years. With the ritual complete, the village of Black Hollow finally found peace. The killing stopped, and the villagers could once again walk freely under the moonlight. Though they mourned the loss of Marcus, they knew his sacrifice had helped end the nightmare that had plagued them for generations. However, some say that on particularly stormy nights, if one listens closely near the forest's edge, they can still hear a whisper on the wind, a voice calling out in the darkness, waiting for the curse to rise once more.